Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you a very simple band arrangement for the Overworld theme from New Super Mario Bros. It's a really fun, funky little tune. It's known for its very distinct vocal line, ba ba, which is interjecting throughout the song. And we're going to start off looking at the percussion, and then I'm going to work through the bass, chords, and melody parts one by one. There's going to be play along parts for all of those, so you can play the same part or a different part and see how they match up. And then at the end, I'm going to go through the intro because that's a little bit unique. And that's all there is to it. So just to touch on that vocal part again, if you're playing this in a band, you definitely want all the players giving a big ba ba all at the same time. It's just not going to be right if everyone isn't doing that. So that comes mostly on a G and also on an A. Ba, ba. This is in the second section of the song. Just watch out for that one. I've been playing it like that with the octaves, ba, ba, but I'll try and shout it every time while we're going through the video. If I miss one, that's the one to listen out for. Ba, ba. Okay, so the percussion parts. There is a kick which goes boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom, boom, ba boom. And there is a clicking that goes one and three, one and three, And then we have this shaker sound that's happening on the offbeats. Cha, 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 cha. So the other bit of percussion is a clapping that happens on the ba, ba at the same time. Ba, ba. And there's also a little 16th note run that takes you into the first beat of the next bar. Happens on the very last beat of the ba, ba, bars. So you get ba, ba, da, 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 and then beat one. Ba, 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 one. That's all of the percussion parts. Next up, we're going to have a look at the bass. The bass is a classic pa bass, pa, which goes from the root of the chord to the fifth. 1, 5, 1, 5. Now you have to watch out because sometimes it's actually like an inverted pa, 5 to 1. Pa not sure. But on the G chord, we've got ba, 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 and then on the C chord, we've got 1, 5. On our F, we got 1, 5. And when you get to the E, it's not going to go from the 1 to the 5. It's just going to sit on the root twice. E, E, A, D, D, G, G, C, G, G. So when we get back to the C, that our circle of fifths has taken us back to the C. E, E, A, D, G. The C does one impar on that bar. C, G. And we sit on the G for the augmented chord. That takes us back around the B section. When you get to the C section the second time round bar is the same as the first time round bar, so nothing to worry about there. When we get to the C section, the chord progression is very similar, especially where the bass is concerned. The root notes are all the same. There's different length bars to be aware of. Apart from that, it's all the same. So we've got 2 bars of C, and then the G, G again for 2 bars, and then C, stay on the C for another 2 bars, F, this time we're on F for 4 bars, and then we've got the circle of fifths again, starting on E, although it's a different chord, it's still an E for the bass. And then we've got part on C, and we stop on the G for the augmented chord and the bars. So that's all of the bass. What I'm going to do now is play the whole thing to a metronome. I've set the metronome to 160, so it's a little bit more chill than the original, which is at 200, but it's still pretty upbeat, of course. I'm going to let the metronome click 4 times, and then we're going to jump in. We're not playing the intro, we're just going to play the B and then the C section. I'm not going to go around the B twice because it's all very similar anyway. Okay, so next up we're going to go over the chords. Now the chords are playing off of the beat through the whole song. Cha, 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 so on. And there's a couple of extra ones which come in every time we get a ba, ba. There's a kind of bonus chord. So first we'll talk about the offbeat chords that are running throughout, and then I'll talk about those ba, bas. Now, it's good to kind of invert these chords to keep them out of the way of the bass. It's going to sound a little bit nicer and not so much like bouncing up and down octaves. So if you can invert those chords, we've got 3 C's, 4 on the G7, back to C for 4, F, 2 times, before we get to a -6. So watch out for that one. E over C, you could put a G in the bass. C over E, but you could put a G in the bass because the bass is going to play that E. The A7, the D7 you could put over F. G7 maybe over the D or maybe over the F. F's probably better. C. And then our G augmented chord. So that's all the chords for the B section. The C section is very, very similar. Slightly different length bars, and one of the chords is different. So again, we've got C, this time for 2 bars, and then we're on to G7, 4 bars, back to C, pretty much for 4, but on the last one we're going to add in the 7th. It's really important that we save that 7th for that 4th bar. And then we're on F for 2, minor, basically for 2, but the second one's got a 6. Really nice progression here. This time we're on E minor 7 instead of that C major over E, slightly different chord. You could put the A7 over the C sharp, D minor 7 over F. You could put the G over F as well. C for 1 bar, ba, ba, and we're back to our G org, which kind of helps the whole piece shift around the sections. In the original, they're not playing the chords as blocks. They're actually arpeggiating the chords all over the place with this crazy little pattern that we're going to look at in the intro. What I would recommend, because it's fun and cute and just kind of goes along with the mood of the song, is that we put these chords on the weaker beats. So we get a pa, pa, pa. It goes along nicely with the original bass line. It's much, much more simple to play than the crazy arpeggio that's in this really kind of intricate synth sound that's quite difficult to hear and follow along. So that simplifies things by 1,000 times. And it sounds fun and it's enjoyable. So we're going to put it there on the weaker beats. Just to give you an idea of how the other chords work that I mentioned earlier, the ones that sit behind the ba, ba, it kind of follows the clapping pattern that I mentioned in the percussion part. When you hear ba, ba. You also get a chord, and this is going to happen on G, it's going to happen on C, and it's going to happen on F as well. Now I'm going to play the chord section all the way through. I'm going to play the B and then the C. I'm not going to repeat the B because it's all very similar kind of repetitive techniques. I've got the metronome set to 160, which is a bit slower than the original 200. So it's going to make a slightly more chilled out practice. I'm not going to be able to fit the ba chords on at the same time while I'm doing the bass and the main offbeat chords. So that's just one to watch out for. I'm going to put the bass in so that you can feel where the one is. Otherwise, we're playing everything on the weak beats. It's kind of disorientating. You might hear me do a few inversions in my right hand that aren't correct. I've been practicing a version where I'm doing all the parts, and I'm just a little bit used to playing them differently than what I described for the tutorial. So watch out for that. You kind of just want to invert all the chords, like I said. If you see me doing a root position in my right hand, maybe avoid that. I'm going to let the metronome click for 8, and then I'm going to jump in. Okay, so the melody. So there's not loads of crazy things to the melody. We've got pretty much diatonic, except for this nice -6. Just a nice jazzy feeling. We've got lots of little syncopated notes. And we want to put nice little spaces in between those so we're not dragging. Doesn't have the same kind of punch to it. And there's a few little maybe accented staccato kind of notes too to watch out for. Melody's nice when it's kind of dancing around, staccato, lots of nice spaces in between. I'm going to play this part through to a metronome. I'm going to set it to 160, so it's a bit slower than the original, which is 200. I'm going to play through the B and the C section. I'm not going to repeat the B because it's all fairly similar kind of stuff. I'm going to let the metronome click for 8, and then I'm going to jump right in. Don't forget that the first bar of the melody comes in on beat 2, not beat 1, so there's a little space there to wait for. Ba, ba. Ba, ba. Ba, ba. Ba, ba. Ba, ba. So now to look at the intro. Really, it's a 2-bar intro and an A section, which is 4 bars. But the A section always comes at the beginning. It feels like a bit of an intro, but when you repeat the whole structure, the original does go back to A. So that's one to watch out for. In the first 2 bars, the proper intro, we've got 4 chords: C, C over E, F, G. But the F is coming in half a beat later, so you get... You can hear it coming in on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4. The bass and the chords are working together, and there's a little melody that goes over the top. And at the end of that, we get a little bar. That's our first bar of the song. So the A section has 4 bars: C, C sharp, D minor 7, and G7. Every other chord is half a beat early. So instead of being on beat 1 where you usually find it, it's on the and of 4 of the first bar. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. On that last bar is where we get our first ba, ba, with the rhythm. Not the first ba, but the first ba, ba. And the A section is also where the percussion comes in for the first time. And as I said before in the percussion section, on the ba, ba, we get clapping and the little 16th note roll into the first beat. Ba, ba, boom, and then we're in the B section. So the arpeggio that sits over the top, it's really wacky, it's really fun. It actually goes through the whole piece, shifting around with all the different chords. But man, to sit there and work out all of that and transcribe it, that's a lot of work. I mean, it's quite hard to hear in the original. It's quiet, it's blippy bloopy, it's very fast, it's very high up. But in this section, the A part, there's nothing else really going on. There's no melody. So it's kind of worth having someone play this part as best they can. Ba, ba. That makes up the intro and the 4-bar A section, which we loop around to when you get to the end of the section, end of the structure. The structure is B, B, C, or A, B, B, C, and then you loop back to A, obviously intro on the very first time. So for an outro, simple, effective, easy, fun. Once you get to the G augmented chord at the end of the C section, for the last time, once you've had fun doing your solos over the B section, you can just bring that back to a C. Ba, ba, ba. And maybe even put a little ritornello kind of pause on there. So you go, ba, ba, ba. Have fun with it. You know, we can add fills. We can add all kinds of decorative stuff in between. And so on. You can play around with those, but the simple thing to do is just bring it back to C, the root of the key, and end it there. So I hope you find some of this useful and you're not finding too many mistakes and whatever throughout the tutorial. I'm trying to get better and better at these so I can make some really good quality ones in the future. If you are using these and getting some use out of them, and particularly if you watch them and find something's not really working so well, or if I've made some mistake that I haven't noticed already, do put some feedback for me in the comments. I'm really keen to kind of build this up with the people that's actually using it, really hone it in and make it as useful for you as possible. I'll be running through this arrangement with a whole bunch of friendly folks on the 3rd Thursday of this month, May 2024. And I'll be posting stuff about that on Instagram and maybe YouTube in the weeks that follow. Happy practicing. See you next time.